My name is Rafida and I am your host for Breakout Room 2. The next session is on Industry 4.0 and its value for Indonesia's electronics and electrical manufacturing sector. If you have any questions, please key into the Q&A button on your screen and we will attend to you shortly. Leading the discussion is Glenn Tan, Group Partner of Tandem X. As a quick introduction, Glenn has led business turnaround, transformation, and change management internationally for 25 years in the services, industrial, and manufacturing industries. Glenn is joined by Pak Abdillah Einstein, Policy Analyst Expert, Directorate of Electronics and Telematics Industry, Ministry of Industry, Pak Jogianto, Associate General Manager, Business Development, PT Hartono Istana Technology, Polytron, Pak Teguh Prasetya, the Chairman of the Indonesian IoT Association, and Pak Budi Sulistiarto, Digital Transformational Leader, Schneider Electric. And with that, I'm happy to hand proceedings to you, Glenn. Perhaps you can begin with a few overarching remarks to set the context for the discussion, please.
Very good afternoon to all of you, and I know we're sensitive that we are between you and lunch. So what we'll do is to focus specifically on a couple of things. Number one, specific to obviously the electronics and electrical industry. The prize speakers and panelists that you've heard in the previous plenary sessions have already covered quite a bit of the broader outline, so we will try to do specific to that. So I'll ask for Pak Teguh to kick us off, given that Pak Teguh obviously has a lot to do with working with the government, given his role as the IoT Association Chairman. So Pak Teguh, I'm going to hand it over to you to share a bit about some of the policies that could facilitate electrical and electronics manufacturers specifically in Indonesia, or even if it helps foreign investors to come into Indonesia. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Pak Teguh.
Thank you for the time. I would like to update all of us regarding regulatory update as of July 2021 today. First of all, IoT regulatory itself is divided into three parts. The first part is regarding the network itself. Second part is about devices. And the third part is about the human resources itself. Next slide, please. We do understand that the total market for Indonesia IoT demand is being huge. It is counted as more than 40 billion US in 2025 and also consists of 678 million of devices as well. That is include on all sector, telecom, media, healthcare, manufacturing, agriculture, transportation, mining, financial, as well as home. So there are four parts of the 2021 program for our association. Number one, it is revising the Ministry Decree number 1, 2019. We will add more on the 433 megahertz for unlicensed band. And the other one, it is for the system of data communication. It is mentioning for IoT, it is mandatory. That was listed on the Ministry Decree number 5, year 2021. For standardization, right now we have 3 Indonesian national standard of the IoT, and the end of this year, we will add another 3, because right now the draft of Indonesian national standard is already given to standardization body in Indonesia, and now it's time to get the public exposed on those one before it will come to becoming standard. And the third one is about the human resource. Based on the Indonesia national standardization of competence on the Ministry of Manpower number 300 year 2020, we do have training and education, also certification on human resources. So this is the 3 things of regulatory things that we are as association is also pushing forward to collaborate with all industry association globally as well to fulfill this, also to meet this criteria. Okay, this is the detail of how we implement for the devices provider or sensor provider. So first of all, IoT provider should fulfill with the DGPT number 3 2019 decree, and those one is listed as a technical specification, also uh, and after that, we should also get the technical testing on the technical lab, also the EMC testing on the lab itself. After it passed, and you will get certified, and not and afterwards, the devices itself can be can be used by the end user. This is the flow how for the device makers. Next. For the network platform and application provider, based on the Ministry Decree number 5, year 2021, article number 12, mentioning that every player or connectivity player shall have the uh, communication data system licensing, or they can work together with the license holder. With that one, before it goes to public, it goes to sell it the solution to the public, it should follow this rule. Okay, this is the three Indonesian national standard of the IoT that already established, and it is declared since to March 2nd, 2021. The one is regarding the framework of testing, and secondly is about the framework of interoperability of the IoT itself. And the thirdly is regarding the sensor network for gas metering system, wireless gas metering system. This is the current three Indonesian national standard SNI based on ISO IC. This is another three that we are still working on it. Number one is regarding the reference architecture. Number two is regarding the vocabulary. And number three is regarding use cases. So three next Indonesian national standard of the IoT is coming. We are finishing the discussion and drafting, and right now is on the public phase, public testing and public hearing right now. And hopefully by the end of Q4 2021, it is becoming Indonesia national standard of IoT as well. Okay, this is the last one. It's regarding the human resource. Since we already got Ministry of Manpower Decree number 300 year 2020, mentioning that scale-based of the IoT for the human resource in Indonesia is based on the design capability, implementation capability, O&M capability, also security capability on to all layers. One is device, second is network, the third is platform, and the fourth is application. Network is divided into two. For low power wide area network, cellular base, also non-cellular base. For the platform is also divided into three criteria. One is on premises, second is on cloud, and thirdly is hybrid. For application is also divided into two, which is mobile apps and also web-based. And among those all the processes, we are divided into 6 layers, which is layer 2 is for the operator, the basic one. And then coming up to the supervisor, senior supervisor, engineer, and the top one is for the manager. So this is skill-based Indonesia national competence on the IoT is being written and being declared. in effect right now. So to support this industry 4.0 and also making Indonesia 4.0, as we know that IoT is becoming backbone and backhaul of it, that's why we are establishing this roadmap, this regulatory, this framework is to make it everybody easy to understand, easy to manage, and easy to implement as well, on not only for the operational itself, but start from design, implementation, and then finally is the operation and maintenance. And never forget is regarding the security itself. Security of devices, security of network, security of platform, as well as security of the application. So with this one, we do think that the match between technology, people, and the process will enhance making Indonesia 4.0 and also industry 4.0 adoption in Indonesia is much faster and getting in line with all ecosystem. So thank you. That is my presentation.
Thanks a lot, Pak Teguh. I just have one question for you since we're on this page. And the question is, if anybody wants to be upskilled, as you mentioned about a lot about skill sets for the IoT series of knowledge, right? Where should they go to get that? Would it still be the same place that we had earlier on where it's called STMI Polytechnic Jakarta? Or if I'm not in Jakarta, what would you recommend, the SMEs do as an example?
Well, we got several LSP, what we call the learning of the education center in Indonesia, but not only Polytechnic Jakarta for sure. There's only one of it. A lot of LSP. Right now, we are working together with 4 LSP to get training and also certification. And those training right now we try to do the virtual training as well, to make sure that everybody across the nation can enjoy at least for the basic knowledge first. And then after that, if they want to go more in depth into the knowledge, then they can come and not only online but also can do offline as part of it. As we mentioned before, the association also doing training, and also together with the major learning bodies, it's also conducting the testing, then examination to get the certification. So we issue certification as well.
Fantastic. And I guess for the audience out there, if you want to know how to reach out, you can see in his background, Asosiasi Indonesia IoT. They type that into Google, they should be able to locate your website. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So you can reach out our website on the ascot.id. So as simple as that.
Okay, no, thanks a lot for that. I'm going to switch over to Pak Abdullah. Pak Abdullah also represents the Ministry of Industry. And Pak Abdullah, if you could share specific to the electronics and electrical manufacturers, what are some of the policies specific to this industry in which you can share, which will help to upscale, the companies in that space?
Thank you, Mr. Glenn, and other speakers, Pak Teguh, Pak Joe, and Pak Budi. Let me start with that. In general, Industry 4.0 is supposed to increase productivity, efficiency, contribution, added value, competitiveness, sustainability of the national industry. But let me give you a statement that as a priority sector among 7 sectors, that electronic and telematic industry, I can say it's rather unique because in Industry 4.0, we have 2 roles as a technology user and also as technology provider. It's represented perfectly by the speakers, yeah, Pak Jo as a technology user and Pak Teguh and Pak Budi as a technology provider. We have some roadmap in implementation Industry 4.0, especially for electronic industry. But I want to tell you that government has 10 set of 10 initiative step to make sure the implementation of making 4.0 is a success. The one is improvement of flow of goods and material. Number 2 is redesign industrial zone. Number 3 is sustainability standard. Number 4 is empowering micro, small, and medium enterprise. Number 5 is build a national digital infrastructure, which is very important to Industrial 4.0. Number 6 is attract the foreign investment. It's to technology transfer. As Pak Jo said in the presentation, that we need like semiconductor, something like that. That's also included in our roadmap in electronic industry. Number 7 is improving quality of human resource, and number 8, development of innovation ecosystem. That's by Cindy 4.0. Number 9 is incentive for technology investment, and number 10 is harmonization of rule and policies.
Thanks a lot for that. And the question for you is for those who happen to be not Indonesian companies, but are looking to invest, right, in this very populous country. You have the up and coming middle class, and your demographic dividend of very young and energetic people. My question for you then is, if I am a foreign company wanting to come in, what would you say to attract me into your country?
Actually, we how can I say about? Actually, we have, yeah, you can say we have we prepare industrial zone comfort for you to invest. We have incentive. We also preparing the human resource so that they ready to adopt to your investment. But I think it's better that the industry in here, Pak Jo or Pak Budi, giving a testimony how Indonesia helping their investment.
No, thank you for that. Actually, you are one step ahead of me, because after you answer, I was going to direct the question to Pak Jogianto and Pak Budi. If you could share from your perspective, what would you say that would attract a foreign investor into your country?
Is it to me?
Both of you, I mean, you can share each of you your own perspective, because one is a MNC, right? Schneider Electric. One is a conglomerate or very big company. So it'd be nice to hear from the both of you, a different perspective.
Okay, allow me first. So from the industry perspective, Polytron has been here in Indonesia. It's 45 years old company. So I believe, and I think the government is all this time is on our side. So hopefully now during the COVID issue, COVID problem, so government do lots of things, mostly on the to empowering industry to go like more resilience during the COVID pandemic. And then they are trying to empowering us with lots of incentive. We have on the IET sector is an incentive for research and development. Government already giving back, like say in tax return 300% if sorry 200% for R&D, and then for the vocation is 300%. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is a bit which one is 300 and which one 200%. But 300% from your income tax, I think is quite huge. Either you do R&D, either you do the collaboration with the vocation school. So when it's placed, so I think it's for industry. As long as your tax is quite good in terms of to government, so I think you can claim back your fund to do the R&D as long as it's doing in Indonesia, and you can prove it by, like say, paper, work, everything, so on. So I think it's lots of things that happening in the previous 2 years in Indonesia to attract more people to come and invest in Indonesia. Even though Polytron is still looking a partner, I mean, like a partner to a sparring partner, because you know in the electronic industry, Polytron is a bit considered as alone as an Indonesian brand. So, for example, like LG and Samsung, you can imagine the competition between two in Korea. So Polytron, we need that kind of competition as well. So in the next future, I think it's lots of things that government will do for the industry in terms of new investment or old investment with new face, maybe. I think so. I think lots of things, Glenn.
No, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Pak Jogianto. You know what I hear from you? You're getting very bored. Life is too boring. You know why? You are number one and there's no other close number two. That's what you're saying. No, but fantastic. I'm going to switch over to Pak Budi. If you could share from your perspective, you know, as a multinational operating in Indonesia for so many years as well, if you could. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Glenn. Yeah. So basically, I agree with Pak Jogianto that what I can say is we are ready. Indonesia is ready right now. So not only in terms of infrastructure, but also as per ecosystem, and then also the people itself, we are ready. So if there is any investor coming from outside, for foreigner, please welcome to Indonesia, because we are ready. As you know also that Schneider in Batam, we are established 1991, so already 30 years in here as a multinational company. So thanks to Ministry of Industry, and also especially to our government, that they are supporting a lot to us, to all of industry in Indonesia. So they are making the program that we call Making Indonesia 4.0 to accelerate all industry to growth in terms of economy, in terms of beneficial that they will get for implementation of Industry 4.0, and then they are making a program Indy 4.0 to see the readiness index of each industry, and then they are creating also Cindy ecosystem in Indonesia also. So what I can say, the last is we are ready. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. And again, you know, I'll ask each of you one challenging question. Okay, so I start off with Pak Jogianto. Now, I heard that you know, you all have a pretty sizable workforce, right? And my question for you then is this, right? How do you deal with this whole labor union challenge? You know, I mean, that has always been a big issue for a lot of companies. And I was in China many years ago. I had to deal with labor unions. So this is not a funny issue, right? So if you could share with us, because effectively you're dealing with shifting people from one type of work to another, and some people feel that they're going to lose their job or they're not capable. Could you share a bit about that?
Yes, I think it's this. I think it's the same problem for us in the industry. Because turnover in the workforce, I think is quite high. But in Polytron, you can do research, because if someone is already in Polytron, I think they will stay for about 5 years and more. Because in our management, we treat our staff, our crew, is like an asset for the company. Because we do the updating on the knowledge, and then they have a clear path on the career, So and then they have like say guarantee from the company for their health, for their etc. like that. I think that's the best that we can give to them, including me as a part of the Polytron. But the main issue is into the industry 4.0 that I mentioned previously on the main steps is about culture. So the headache for us is the culture, because Indonesia, I think a few person is asking me when Indonesia will change on the in terms of human resources, how they think, how they act, and everything. I tell them is need two generation for Indonesia to be changed like that. So we are not known as the cheap labor country. No, Indonesia is considered not cheap compared to Shenzhen. But the main problem for us is the, how people to produce things more faster. The ecosystem, so the culture. So as example, you said in China you already there, so you see how they work. The productivity. Okay, maybe lunch is taking about a few minutes even, but here we need to empowering them to, okay, go back after you have finished your lunch and go back to the station and let's do the work again. So sometimes yes, I cannot say bluntly in here, but there's a problem over there. But in the long run, we have things in place, and then the industry 4.0 is rolling in as well. So allow us to set up on our technology, on our manpower management, to be like comply with industry 4.0 automation. Everything is by cloud. Any data is uploaded to the cloud. So everybody need the data, or they want something from the company, they are already is there. So it's 24/7. So I think it's a good timing during the COVID. We take a look on our implementing Industry 4.0 in our company. That's from Polytron.
No, thank you so much, Pak Jogianto. And I cannot estimate what you just mentioned about the leadership piece. And if you heard Pak Jogianto mention, and I'll highlight to the audience again, he talks about how the leadership plays a role of building trust with the people. And once that happens, you find that your transformation journey becomes a lot easier than, I don't know whether should I believe what the leaders say or not. And that one doesn't happen overnight. It takes years, right? Pak Jogianto. Yeah. And so he heard that if they join us, they won't leave. Now, in a developing country like Indonesia, we find that turnover is very high. But I think he's managed to achieve something. I think worthwhile for all of us to take that in as good words of advice. I'm going to switch over to Pak Budi. And my question for you is this. As you guys implement this thing, obviously, once there's free flow of data, there's always the risk of data leakage and security issues. Have you all experienced that, or how do you all deal with a situation like that, Pak Budi?
Okay, thank you, Glenn. So honestly, we don't have any that's kind of issue, because we are working together with our corporation regarding for cybersecurity, because the first of our enabler to implement Industry 4.0 is regarding cybersecurity. So how we make sure that our cybersecurity are in place in our industry, in our company. So not only talking about the technology, how technology can prevent any cybersecurity, but also the human itself. Again, I agree with Pak Jugianto that human is the key in here. So not only implementing Industry 4.0, but as a general operational, human is a key, especially in Indonesia, because the human in Indonesia as an operator is not so high, right? The cost, I mean. So that's why in terms of cybersecurity also, we need to encourage all the people, starting from operator and then technicians, engineer, supervisor, until the manager and top level, that they must aware regarding of the cybersecurity. And then this will be build the digital mindset of each of us in our factory in Schneider especially. So yeah, we are make sure our technology, we are make sure our people, and of course we are make sure our environment itself to play with how we aware to cybersecurity itself.
Okay, no, thank you for that, Pak Budi. Pak Teguh, I'm going to switch over to you, and this is a question from the audience. And if anyone wants to chime in subsequently, please do that. The question is from Jose Ray, right? Or Hore is his name. And the question is, what is the most current available technology that you can implement right now in the electrical and electronics industry in Indonesia? And obviously, you know, being in the IoT space, many things could be applied, but just thought it'd be nice if you could share from your personal point of view.
Well, again, if you are talking about the technology that is available for home user, so a lot of technology with the Wi-Fi or Zigbee is available for that one. So those one also you can find out on the digital online market very easily. That's for the home user, for consumer. But again, for the other one, for the industrial user, that is different case. So it's depend on what is the industry want and whether they are trying to use cellular-based technology, which is NB-IoT and so on, or they choose another path, which is the unlicensed one, which is LoRa and so on. It's also available here. So there is no magic clue, but again, it is depend on the use case and depend on the consumer itself. What is their needs that is fit with them? But all technology is available right now.
Right. And I think a lot of people have this misconception that technology can be very costly.
Yeah.
And given what you know, would you share with them at least a guide or a ballpark? Are you looking at investments in IoT, for example, right? Given that I 4.0 relates a lot to do with this connectivity and data flow at a very fast point in time. What kind of investment are people looking at? Are you talking about in the millions, in the hundreds of thousands, in the tens of thousands? Any guide for the audience?
Okay. For example, this is one example, which is the growth is pretty high for smart home.
Okay.
On 2019, Indonesia smart home number of Indonesia smart home is only 1.5 million. On 2020, number of Indonesia smart home is 6.5 million houses. And those within those smart houses, how much they spend? It is 500,000 rupiah, which is half of million Indonesian rupiah. I will convert into Sing, which is around
$50, I think. 40 to $50.
40 Sing, something like that.
Right.
That's to build one complete smart home for Indonesian houses. For individual sensor, it is getting lesser. Again, it's only 100,000, which is only 10 Sing, for example. This is for only each sensor that is needed for home. So this is some example that, hey, building smart home in Indonesia is no harm. There is it is not expensive at all. It is everybody that has a million or 100 million of house price can be implemented, So those one is there here. And this year, we are predicting that the smart home number in Indonesia for 2021, it will reach 12 million. As simple as that.
Double. So for
It's
those
double.
who are supplying this, time to get into the market. 12 million is just a scratch for the 300 million population.
Yes. And number of houses in Indonesia is around 70 million of homes. So again, 12 million is still far away from 70 million. still a huge opportunity here to be explored.
Sure. Pak Gogianto, to you as well to chime in on that question and your thoughts.
Okay, so I think it's what Pak Teguh mentioned is like it's a new gold mine in Indonesia. Actually, if you have a technology background, came here as a option, because you know we are number 4 most popular country in the world. So if you stay here, if you invest in here, if you let's say start your business in here, mostly on the IoT side, this a whole bunch of great market is available for you. Yeah, Pak Teguh mentioned is about home IoT. You need to consider home IoT alone is not the closed loop solution. The closed loop solution, including security, including services, including I don't know, whatever. If you can find in the US, I think is applicable in Indonesia, because most of all now stay at home, because Indonesia is mostly is a landed house, but consider the apartment as well. So and then the new government policy from the Pak Teguh mentioned previously, we are opening 433 megahertz for the IoT as well. I think it's a great market. I think it's a great position to have in Indonesia as one of the IoT provider in Indonesia. And then at the same time, Polytron is already okay. We already built a new. Pak Teguh mentioned about the IEEE standard is like 5G, but we go to the private one. Non-IEEE is like LoRa. So we built the modem. So we have the module already for public. I think that on the Q3, end of the Q3, we will make it available for the market through the ASIOT Association. So people can buy the modem and do whatever they want to do, because it's communicated on the LoRa base, on the LoRa communication. I think if your Wi-Fi is like stop for now, you don't have any redundancy, but now you have a LoRa. So I think the question is, previously you mentioned to Pak Teguh, is the technology in Indonesia is very well built in Indonesia. The government, the regulation, everything in place. So now it's Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 6 is ongoing. So I think you can do whatever you can imagine in here. That's it from me.
Well, thank you so much. And I realize we're running out of time. So I'll ask each and every panelist to prepare one key takeaway for the audience. I'll start off with Pak Adila. If there's one advice you want to leave the audience with, what would you say?
Actually, by implementing 4.0, Indonesia have some target. We have 3 indicators that what we want to achieve by implementing Industry 4.0. Number 1 is GDP growth, 6 until 7 each year. And number 2 is the number of job creation that will rise from 20 to 30 million jobs. And number 3 is increasing the manufacturer contribution to GDP from 16% to 25%. So also we have some market in here by the number of population. So we open to you to invest in here by implementing 4.0 also. That other speakers said that every infrastructure that we already set. Also now we starting the 5G. That's key thing to implement the Industry 4.0. That's for me, Mr. Glenn.
Thanks a lot, Pak Abdillah. And you're also going to say that, you know what, we'll give you 200 to 300% of your tax back if you do innovation and collaboration, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. And Pak Budi, your parting shot.
Okay, what I can say is digital transformations makes our future is on. Our future, I mean, is on. So this is our turn to be ready for that. So as an individual, as an ecosystem also, we need to be ready because future is in need to be on. So that's why we need to be ready by the upskilling, reskilling, and also we need to be ready for shifting later on. So this is our turn.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, Pak Budi. And Pak Teguh, yours.
Okay, thank you. Facing Industry 4.0, digital transformation, IoT technology development, 5G technology development, whatever you call it, we must have three kind of attitude. Number one, we must adapt to it and adopt it on this technology. Number two is accelerate everything, including your skill, including your knowledge, including your ability. That's, we must accelerate for that one. And then thirdly, don't forget to collaborate locally and collaborate globally to make sure that we have the right skill to do it and to enable it to becoming, you know, and to enable to global market. So that is my point.
Thanks, Pak Teguh. And Pak Gogianto, you wrap us up.
Okay, thank you. So from me, I think it's not too much. I think it's we as a company that are being set up, I say, as old enough. So in Indonesia, we need to more collaborate with parties from the overseas in terms of our technology, because I understand that we need to learn more from the any party from the technology from overseas maupun or locally. And then the collaboration with the government, I think is we have to do more closely. And then the collaboration with our education structure is needed for us to, let's say, to get our next human resources, because human resources is essential for our company to survive time to time in the industry. That's it from me.
Thank you so much, panelists and all the parts. We appreciate your very open sharing. And I know some of the things are actually are spoken from the heart. And I thank you all for that. Wish you all, continue to be safe and healthy with your family. I'm going to hand it over to our MC, Rafida.
Thank you, Len.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Glenn and fellow panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of Voice of the Market, Indonesia Industry 4.0 Forum. This session is recorded and will be shared on our platform, so do feel free to rewatch it again at your leisure. Thank you again for your support and see you at ITAP 2021. Goodbye.